Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Amera.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm a digital account executive with Vista Magazine, and Tracy is the founder and creator of a wonderful tea company called Millennia Tea. This tea is so unique. It comes in frozen cubes, fresh straight from the tea field, and Tracy is going to elaborate on more of her brand, more details, and why she got started. So Tracy, one of my first questions for you today is, what's the story behind Millennia Tea and what prompted you to get started?
So, Amera, if we were to rewind 4 years, I wasn't a tea drinker. Not really. We had a health scare in our family, and it prompted us to start to learn about some things that we hadn't previously considered. Things like free radicals and how they're roaming around in your body. And if you don't neutralize them, then it can lead to all kinds of disease like cancer. And so as we got learning, we learned about antioxidants and their ability to help neutralize free radicals and protect cells. And we learned that there's one antioxidant. It's only found in tea leaves. It's called EGCG, or epigallocatechin gallate. And EGCG, only in tea, highest in tea leaves when they're first picked. And so for our family, we didn't really care about tea. We wanted the antioxidants in the tea leaf, and those antioxidants were highest in fresh picked tea. And so we went looking for fresh tea, and when we couldn't find anyone who would sell it to us and get it to us in the timelines that we required, we weren't okay with that. And then the idea for Millennia Tea was born, and we spent the better part of the next 2 years figuring out a process to safeguard the maximum amount of antioxidants in a tea leaf.
Oh, that is amazing. So how did you come up with this idea of maximizing the antioxidants?
So for us, it was about, I'm less interested in tea for beauty and culture and nuance and origin. All of that there's a whole industry around that, and it's terrific. But for us, it's, I want tea that performs. So I want tea that has the most antioxidants, that's going to allow me to perform at optimal energy, to have maximum benefit from a really powerful plant. And so for us, we looked at tea, and we looked into the origins of tea, and we learned that a millennia ago, so tea, the word millennia by definition means a period of thousands of years. Thousands of years ago, tea was considered medicinal, and it was enjoyed with leaves fresh from the field. It was only when countries started exporting their teas overseas that they started drying and fermenting them so they would survive that journey. And so our vision with Millennia Tea is to give people that experience, to go back a millennia and enjoy tea in the way when it was first discovered, in its most sort of pure, naturally powerful form.
That's absolutely beautiful. You actually just answered my next question as to why you chose Millennia Tea as the name of the brand, and that is so powerful. So what makes your tea different from other teas?
So we make tea in a way that is legitimately the polar opposite of every other tea company in the industry. So leaves are picked. Ours are picked from Sri Lanka in the mountains. Really, really beautiful tea leaves. They're picked, and really that's where the similarities stop between us and every other tea company you'll see on the market. So they pick the leaves, and then they wither and they dry, and they cook them in various ways to make a black tea or a green tea or a white tea or whatever tea you might have. With us, we do the opposite. We wash our tea leaves. We're the only company that we're aware of globally that washes our tea. So we double wash our leaves, and then we flash freeze them within hours of being picked. So it's almost like that story about your blueberries. People say, if you want the healthiest blueberries or fruit and vegetables, you're going to pick them at their nutritional prime, and then you're going to individually quick freeze them within hours so that they maintain the most nutrients, or in our case, the most antioxidants. And so we follow that method.
So you're basically freezing time for us and letting us enjoy the tea right fresh from the field.
Yeah, and so in addition to sort of delivering maximum antioxidants, statistically, if you have a cup of my tea versus a cup of a dried green tea that was made from the exact same leaves picked at the same time from the same plant, tea drank in our way, with leaves processed in our method, will give you 5 times the EGCG, the powerhouse antioxidants, compared to a green tea made from the exact same leaves, picked at the same time. So there's that piece, the more antioxidants, maximum performance from tea. And the other piece is that the tea tends to have that fresh from the field taste. To your point, it's like having an experience of tea if you were to go up into the mountains and pick the leaves yourself and dump boiling water on them. That's the kind of taste experience or sensory experience that you have with drinking real, raw, fresh leaf tea.
That's a remarkable technology. I love that you're bringing back something from the past. And we know today that, you know, so much of our nutrients and minerals are depleted from the soil. So this is something definitely important to me as a nutritionist, and so many health practitioners out there who are concerned with health and improving it. So what is the top feature of your tea that you are most proud of?
So for me, it really, it is that fundamental piece of, we looked at tea with a lens that people don't look at tea with. We just looked at those leaves and we were like, there is some really powerful health elements in that plant that are being literally, and I don't mean to be vulgar about this, but are being literally cooked out of it when people are processing the tea. And so because I don't care about like terroir and the different flavor profiles and all those lovely things, but because that's not interesting to me, I think the tea leaves taste delicious on their own in their real raw state, that we were able to look at the industry with a completely different lens from everyone else, and we're able to come up with something, being a little Canadian company, not in a tea producing country, and say, I think we should do something different. And so we are tea done different. And so to be able to look at it with that different lens and then take it out and show it to the industry. We won a global innovation prize at the biggest tea show in the world for specialty teas. We were one of 8 companies globally selected to be part of the #1 food innovation accelerator in the world, one of only 2 companies from Canada. And it's because we think tea can be food. I don't think tea has to be drank with boiling water to kill off anything that was remaining from, you know, not washing the leaves or what have you. We think tea should be food. And so I guess my long-winded answer to your very concise question was that I'm proud of the fact that we were able to look at it from a place of having a problem and an industry that didn't solve our problem, and then finding a way to come up with a different way. And I recognize that we have a really big job ahead of us in terms of education. To say I do fresh tea, your mind isn't going to naturally go to real, raw, green leaves in a field. It's just not. So I know we have a big job ahead in terms of public education, but that's the part that I'm really excited for. And that's the part I think we can do better than any company in the world.
And that's one of my favorite things about your brand. And one of the things I'm most excited for is the whole educational process. It's one of the reasons behind this video. And I'm sure that when people hear the word fresh, they're going to start imagining themselves in those fresh tea leaves, tea fields where they're drinking fresh leaves. It's amazing. It's a beautiful concept. And I'm so happy that it's finally being done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is your tea organic?
Yes, absolutely. So our growing partners in Sri Lanka. So we've sort of curated tea from lots of different places. We started in some areas in China, went to Nandi Hills, Kenya, did some work with Hilo, Hawaii, also Bataco, Colombia. Now we're in the mountains, 8,000 feet above sea level in Sri Lanka, and our growing partners there have all the important certifications. So absolutely USDA certified organic, Canadian organic certified. And then more than that, our partner was named Fairest Fair Trader in the world in 2014. They just won a European Corporate Sustainability Award. The factory where our tea is, the washing and the flash freezing takes place, is a company, the technical term is BRC certified, but just means that they operate at the highest global standards in terms of food safety manufacturing. So yes.
That's amazing. What are the functional properties of your tea? Any research that's being backed about, what functional or what healing properties it could potentially have for people going through, let's just say, diabetes or heart problems or just overall helping out with metabolic conditions. Anything there in that sense that can be supported by research.
Yeah, so there is a huge amount of research around the health properties of tea, both on the clinical and the scientific, sort of the medical and scientific research bodies. And on that one antioxidant in particular so the short form is EGCG, and the long form is epigallocatechin gallate. And there's some really incredible research around its healing properties. So certainly the ones that come out and are talked about mostly. So fighting free radical damage, protecting cells is the big one. So looking at things around mitochondrial dysfunction. But the ones that we hear from customers a lot are things like inflammation, arthritis, and inflammation in general. We hear from customers a lot on that. Certainly there's a huge amount of research around cancer, and where I'm not clinical, I guess I would encourage folks to do the research, to type in EGCG and whatever ails you, and you'll get some articles that you can read on your own. I hate to speak out of school, but we hear from folks, you mentioned metabolic health. We hear from people a lot around metabolic health, around
Yeah.
energy, that energy boost as well. We've started hearing from people who have been pretty vocal about saying, I decided to cut out coffee with no withdrawal effects. And certainly we're not here to try and recruit coffee drinkers. But it's a neat thing to hear that it gives sort of the antioxidants and the energy properties that you get. Lots of research on tea and cardiac health, metabolic health. We're hearing from people who have some skin conditions now, which is interesting to start to hear from them. But again, I guess what I would say, where I'm someone who had a problem and this has been able to solve it, and I'm hearing actively for customers, but we're not clinical. I would encourage folks to do their own research, because there's a really exciting amount of research out there on the healing properties of tea.
Yes, I agree. And I read on it myself as well. And I feel like so many health concerns today just come down to increasing antioxidants. You just find that common link in most of the illnesses that we're facing today, and what research predicts for the future as well.
Yeah,
So how can we use your tea? So we've learned the properties, we learned why it's different. So how can we use it? Can we use it in everyday cooking, or is this just meant to be, brewed as tea?
Right. So I believe, and I'm really excited for the momentum to catch around tea as food. As I said, we wash our leaves, so you can eat the leaves right out of the bag, and they're although it's not delicious to eat them right out of the bag like chips or spinach. But yeah, so you can brew up our tea as a regular loose leaf tea, so leaves or cube. We have two products, same leaves, just a different format. The first is a loose leaf tea. You open the bag that you get in the freezer, and it's big green leaves. The second is we macerate the tea, so we chop the leaves up fine, we form it into a cube, and then it becomes like a single serve. So convenience is there with that, and also just making it a little bit more portable. And so with those, you can certainly drink them as tea. And when you drink our tea as tea, we would encourage you to steep the leaves. So do multiple infusions with the same leaves on fresh leaves, opposite the rest of the industry. Their antioxidants go down on second infusions. Ours actually spike up on second infusion. But the fun parts are, you can use us in a smoothie. If you throw a cube in a smoothie, you're going to get the antioxidants, and you're also going to get that little bit of caffeine. Or you can make the tea, brew it up as a tea, and then put the leaves in your smoothie. We have customers who have told us that they're starting to use the tea in sauces and soups and omelets. Now I'm not much of a foodie, and so I have not used the leaves in preparing some of those, but I'm loving hearing from people who have.
I'm definitely going to be using it in my soups, that's for sure.
Cool.
I don't know about my omelets yet, but soups for sure. Well, it's a good experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the vision for, what is what do you see Millennia Tea as in the future? What is your vision for Millennia Tea?
So we have a vision to establish the global category of fresh leaf tea. Today, when you say, what kind of tea do you make? And I say, I do fresh tea or I do fresh leaf tea. In the same way when you say black tea or green tea, a certain kind of brand or a certain kind of tea pops into your mind. I want to be at the top of the ladder for when people say, what is fresh tea? I want Millennia Tea to be synonymous with fresh tea, because we believe in its ability to help fuel wellness, to share the freshest and most nutrient-rich tea anywhere in order to prevent illness and fight illness and fuel wellness. And fuel wellness. So our vision is to establish a global category of tea, and for people to be able to come together and enjoy tea in its most real, raw, naturally powerful form.
And I could see that. And I think that you set such a wonderful example for future tea brands. And it's just going to start a great ripple effect, in my opinion. I hope that I think that you have that mission as well, that it will just continue on, and that, you know, we'll get more entrepreneurs thinking out of the box about how to solve these problems of not having fresh tea or just preserving our nutrients and bringing back what we're missing from the past of keeping all those nutrients and having fresh, raw, local foods by our side.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being here today. This was so exciting for me, and I'm so fascinated with this and your mission.
Oh, Amera, thanks so much to you, and thanks to the team at Vista. We love the good work that you do around promoting brands and working with companies that are doing so much in terms of health and wellness. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate it so much, Tracy.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.